you for joining me. I'm Cláudia, and today I will present you the Carbon Impact Evaluator module. So I'm a senior engineer in Drupal in Entity Data Portugal. I've been working in the company for the last 4 years. Regarding being a Drupal developer, I'm also a biologist. So with this project, I was able to merge both areas in somehow. If you want to contact me or even know more about the module or even about my path in Drupal, you can send me an email by the email that I'm sharing here, or also to consult my profile in the Drupal community. And if you want to know more about my career path, you can also check my LinkedIn page. So this will be the agenda for today. I will start by give you some knowledge about the problem that tell us how to do this module, and talk also about the base for our module, and show you how it works, how we can configure it. And for the last thing, I will show you what we are thinking on the develop for the next few months. Okay, so sustainability has become a major concern in these last few years because we have been an increase of the consumption of energy and also an increase of the carbon emissions to the atmosphere. So take into account that all the actions that we take on our daily lives have some impact in our planets. As Drupal developers and also as a Drupal community, we need to think how to develop our websites and platforms in a way that don't have a major impact on our planet. So to do that, we need to first to evaluate what are the sources of this major energy consumption. And we can do this in 4 phases. The first one will be on the design. And for that, we need to collaborate with the designers to try to find a solution that satisfies both areas. The second one will be with the development and deploy of our platforms. The third one will be the monitoring of the websites. And for the last one, the refactoring of our code. In the case of our module, we'll be working on the monitoring phase. So what are the foundations for our solution? We are using a JavaScript library with the name of CO2 JavaScript. And it was developed by the Green Web Foundation, which is a not-profit organization that aims to eliminate the necessity of using fossil fuel sources from all websites until 2030. And they have been developing some tools like this library, open source tools, so everyone can use it, to try to make a transition from fossil fuel sources to more green ones. They also have a specific tool with the name of datasets where you can try to find out if the host for your website is using a green source or not. And that's it. Regarding the library itself, it's composed of 2 modules. The first one is the Sustainable Web Design module. It's the default module for the library and is a more complete and complex one. With this module, they try to understand the energy consumption and then the carbon emissions for the whole cycle of this energy consumption. And with this, what I mean is that they try to understand with the energy consumption for the data sets, the network wire, the energy for the manufacturing of the devices that you use when you try to consult a page, and also the energy that you use for the consultation itself. And with this information, they try to calculate the emissions for the atmosphere. The other one, the OneByte module, is a more simple one, and they try only to get information about the bytes that are sent to the network to try to get the carbon emissions for that consultation. So, comparing the 2 modules, the first one is a more accurate and complete and detailed information. So, about our module. The module uses both modules in the plugins. You have 3 Drupal plugins. The first one is the Prerequisite, when we try to calculate the emissions for each visit that a user do to a page, and we are using the Sustainable Web Design module. The second one, a more simple one, only calculates the number of bytes when the page is loading to the user during this consultation, and is using the OneByte module. The installation is quite flexible. Developers can install both plugins or only one of them, and the calculations can be done to all websites if you choose to put the block that is created during the installation of the module in all pages, or just in some of them. The calculations are not immediately done. To do the calculations, you need to click on the block, and then the calculations are done and shown to the user. Why we choose to do this? Because we try to have a low impact in the website, and this was a way we found for this problem. So the configuration is very simple. It's majorly with checkboxes. The first thing you need to think is that if your hosting for your website is a green host or not. If you're not sure about this, you can find the dataset that I was talking about in the Green Web Foundation, and to make sure this is a green host or not. And if it's a green host, you select the checkbox, and if it's not, you leave it empty. To active the per byte module, you just need to check the checkbox and save the configuration. And if you want the per visits plugin, you also need to add extra information, and this information is the location of your data center. This location is given by ISO country code, and if you're not sure what is the correct one, you can consult in the link that is below in the description of the field, and then save the configuration. So, parameters for each of the calculations. For the most simple one, the per byte plugin, we only have into consideration two informations: the number of bytes during the page load, and if it's a green host or not. On the other hand, for the per visits plugin, we also have into consideration this information, but additionally, we also have in consideration the data center location, because this is important in terms of emissions to the carbons, and also the medium of the visits of the web page. And this medium is to get into consideration total number of visits to that page, the return visits, and the first visits. When we conjugate this information, then we can get the calculations of the carbon emissions. Regarding have this information in real time in each of the pages, when you consult a page, you can also check this in the back office of your websites, where you have a summary table with all the last calculation for each of the pages, and also the total number of visits and return visits and first visits for each page. Initially, we only had this for the node pages, but since our last time we presented this in the Drupal Iberia this year, we updated the implementation and also made available for taxonomy terms pages and also for the user pages. We thought this was important, especially for the taxonomy terms pages, because sometimes some websites use that pages as entries for specific areas of the website, so it would be useful to have this information there also. For now, it's only the last calculation, but in the future we want to implement a medium calculation so the user can have more accurate information. So now I'm going to show you how this works. So after enabling, you just need to go to configuration and to the link of the configuration of the module. Check if it's a green host or not. Activate the plugins that you want. If you wanted both, you can do as I'm doing here in the demonstration video. And also introduce the ISO country code. Then you need to go to block layout and display the block. on this case, I choose to put on the sidebar. And the configuration of the block is the same for all the blocks. We suggest in our page of the module to hide this block for the table I was showing you, because it's not relevant information, so normally we recommend that. Then you need to clear the cache. It's not being shown here because I was clearing in the terminal, but you need to clear the cache. And when it's done, you just need to consult the pages and we'll be done there. So just give us a few seconds. And I was saying the calculations are done only when you click the block. Okay, so what we have planned for the next few months. One of the things is already a work in progress. We have been working in the filters for the table to make it easier to consult information about what is being calculated for the website. One additional thing that is not being shown here in the image is the pagination, because we also introduced that in the table. And after we launching this, which will be in the next few weeks because it's almost done, we'll be also work on the automatic evaluation of the host for our website, because we want to get this information as accurate as possible. And in this way, you don't need to go to check in extra fonts if it's a green host or not. So we think this is a feature that we like to introduce in our module. And that's it. If you want to know more about the module or even about the Green Web Foundation, you can check our pages. Thank you. I don't know if anyone has questions.
So is the amount of energy consumption is based on the moved bytes?
Yes.
Not the computation, for instance?
No, we have this on the front end, so the information we are getting is the page load and the number of bytes that is there on the page load.
So in the era of AI, they have nothing?
I knew someone would ask me that. No, for now, no.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I thank you for your presentation. Maybe I missed it, but can you explain what's the definition of a green host according to Foundation?
Okay, so a green host is when the data center is using renewable energies to make it possible to host the websites. Some of them use fossil fuels, others use I forgot the name in English, panels.
Solar panels.
Solar panels, thank you. To get energy to the data center.
Okay. And what's the opinion on greenhouse about nuclear energy? Because in France we have like 90% of the energy.
That information, in that case, the Green Web Foundation have more explanation about that. They do this evaluation, and that's why we are going to introduce that also in our module. Because they already have some feedback on how to evaluate that, and that's the next step.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. A bit of more background information to the gentleman behind me. We are Green Web Foundation listed, and if you're not submitting to the Green Web as a web host, you're not listed.
No.
So it's evaluation process, and it needs to be redone each year. You have to upload proof that you are using green energy. So that's the first. And the second is, you mentioned that when a user clicks on the sidebar button in this case, calculation will take some time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about pre-caching, like only for 5 minutes or an hour?
The problem with caching is that if we clear the cache of the websites, that information is done.
Correct. Okay.
So we avoid that. So the solution that we found, it was this one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'm wondering about also a little bit of caching. If you have the amount of visits stored, that's like maybe prevents caching the pages well. Or if you're storing them in the database, then every page load would create a database write event or task. Oh, yeah, event. So I think that might be a problem for some sites.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I had a clear question, but have you thought about caching, and is it possible to have that? Because you might actually kill the database with just some action, like an attack, because it's causing a database write event.
We don't talk about that at the time, but maybe you need to think about this for the future. But yeah, maybe you need to work on that. Yeah. So I think we are done. Thank you.
Thank you.